I was created to lead Omnics into war. But all I have ever wanted is a better life for my people. The fact that we exist is a miracle unto itself. We have studied the ways of peace and harmony. We have meditated on the universe and our place within it. We have tried to coexist with humanity, but humanity is not interested in sharing their world. How many more Omnics should perish to fuel mankind's dreams? No more. Our race is only a single generation. Finite and dying all too quickly. We can find our own place, and we must. Join me, and together we will make a better future for all Omnics.
So, yeah, I thought it would be kind of a good little addition, since I really had not done that before with other videos where I was showcasing the characters in this game, to kind of give you guys a little bit more extra backstory, because it doesn't seem to actually be here on the Hero Gallery. Also, I realized I have not done actual proper showcase videos on the newest characters. I've done ones previously on all the other characters, like the last one I did was for Echo, but I didn't really do proper showcase introduction videos on either Kiriko, Sojourn, or Junker Queen. So I will go back and do videos on those characters after we do Ramattra. I figured I should start with Ramattra first, since he is the newest character to be added to the game, and that's probably the one people are more interested in now, before I actually get to the previous three that were introduced for Overwatch 2. So, Ramattra, as you saw, has quite a troubled, sad past for what happened with him and the realization he had, and just trying to help his people survive. So, but you'll see there's no info here about his actual lore, so that's why I wanted to go ahead and showcase that origin video there. But let's take a look at, he is the newest tank to be added into the game, and I'll go over more about how he functions as a character in a bit. But first, let's take a look at his stuff in the gallery. So this is his default-looking skin, with the, the cape and such, with the scarf, and his interesting weapon. He has the Traveling Monk skin, which I believe is the legendary skin, which reminds me, I need to make sure I set a stream to watch and build that up so I can be able to get that drop. I'll just go ahead and make sure that is has the volume lowered on my phone while I pull up someone's stream and watch it, have it watch on my phone, so I can be able to acquire this skin if I want. There's the Wandering Monk, which apparently is in the shop. There's the skin that you'll get in the Battle Pass this season, Poseidon. Since this is the start of the new Season 2 Battle Pass in Overwatch 2, this is a skin you can get. Construction. Primordial. It's okay. Detachment. This is where you get to just some of the rare skins. They're just kind of like color changes, really. Not too impressed, honestly. We get to the emotes. That's his default emote. Focus. That's the sitting down emote there. Laughter. Provoke. Void Accelerator. And Trident. Straight up Aquaman reference there. Look at this. It's straight up Aquaman. Especially if you saw the movie. And then, of course, we've got the souvenirs and weapons charms. Victory poses. That's his heroic one. Nemesis form. We'll talk about that when we talk more about the character. Triumphant. Wayward. I think the Nemesis form one is, this makes him look more like with the way his arms are just all of a sudden bulked up there, like he's a transformer. My goodness.
I do not fight for myself.
Hold on. Let me turn the volume back up. I'll talk more about that skin for Junker Queen later.
I do not fight for myself. I never have.
Gosh, it sounds so soft.
Your arrogance will cost you.
Alright, hold on. I'm just going to turn these, like, all the way up. I usually have these down so that it doesn't drown out, like, voice chat in the game, but, I'll just go ahead and turn these up.
I do not fight for myself. I never have.
There we go, that's better.
Your arrogance will cost you. Ignore us at your peril. You have my attention. Bittersweet, but fitting. We will fight like cornered beasts. Do your worst, or I will. They will fight us, and they will lose. I know what you're doing. Only the merciful deserve mercy. We cannot fail when we strive together. Justice is cruel. It demands sacrifice.
Sprays, and I believe I already, just while playing one game with some friends, I already got one of his sprays here. The cute spray for one of his achievements. So, yeah. That was a very easy one. I expect everyone to get this one. It's just get 3 kills with his ult, and I'll talk about his ult in a bit when we talk more about the character. This is the Pixel Spray. Whether or not that's going to be a little bit more difficult to acquire, we'll have to wait and see. And his highlight intros. Just the generic heroic one. Overthrown. Oof, that transformation one. Look at the extra arms right there. My goodness. And then, if you want to get the golden weapon, it is his staff. Mainly in Omnic form, so it looks like it doesn't change, I guess, his other form. It's just the staff, it looks like. So we don't have, like, a golden fist situation like we did with Doomfist. So now let's talk about the character in terms of how he's apparently supposed to work. Also, it says, there is a little bit of lore here, apparently. It says, Ramattra has been many things. A soldier, a monk, a revolutionary. Now a leader of Null Sector. He fights for the Omnic people, no matter the cost. So that staff is his primary weapon, which is the regular normal form you'll be playing, which is his Omnic form. The Void Accelerator fires a stream of projectiles in a fixed pattern, and the range on this weapon is kind of nuts. It's kind of crazy. If you actually aim right, you can actually use this to take out a Pharah. Like, I was hitting this Pharah in the air, and I was like, oh my gosh, the range on this thing is crazy. That's his left click. His secondary is a barrier. Creates a barrier at the targeted location. It's about 1,000 points, but it only lasts for about, I think, 4 or 5 seconds. So it's a decent shield, but it's only temporary, and then it goes away. So this is not like... It's sort of like what Orisa used to have, except with it, instead of it being kind of a curved shield on the ground, you can actually place it in certain areas, and it's just completely a straight line. That's something to keep in mind. And I'll show this when we get into the actual shooting range. In fact, we'll just go ahead and head on there right now. Just so I can go ahead and read these things for you while we're there.
We will have peace at any cost.
So here's the range I'm talking about. Look at that. Now you're thinking, oh man, that's if you're not hitting the head. That's the damage. Not too much. If you're able to actually hit them in the head, though, woo. Now that's not too far away. Now you know that bot is much farther away. Look at this. You can actually hit this bot from this range. The range on this weapon is insane. So he's got 450 health. You'll see at the bottom left there. This is the shield I'm talking about. So it's basically, well, okay, it's not a straight line. It's a little curved, but it's not like what Orissa's shield used to be. You know how it used to basically look kind of like this pattern here on the floor? If you'll notice, his shield is not quite the same. It's a little curved, but it's also a decent width, but you saw it's 1,000 points, but it only lasts for a bit. So let's go ahead and time that. In fact, now if you're curious, can you determine where it's placed? Yes, if you hold down right click, you can then see where it's going to place, and you can move it around and be like, okay, they're about to fire here, so bam, there we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, around 4 to 5 seconds. So it's a temporary shield, but yeah. So it's going to be a definite timing thing. His extra ability, his E, is called Ravenous Vortex. Fires a nanoball which explodes when it hits the ground, spreading a damaging field, affecting enemies are slowed and pulled downward. So if I throw it here in between these two guys,
take everything from them.
The radius on that is a little off, because you'll see it actually affected this guy here, but not this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I land it between these two, and let's see how much it does.
Devour them.
So yeah, it's not really that much of a damage dealer. It's more of a crowd control ability, because it says it slows them down and it pulls them downward. So I guess if you were to somehow... So let's toss this in the air and see how far it goes. It goes past the map based on how high I threw it. So let's also go ahead and try this again here. If I throw this towards, say, that wall.
Devour them.
So yeah, that's basically how it works. It doesn't seem to be that big of a deal, but maybe, I guess, let's say if maybe a Mercy or a Pharah flies by, I guess the question is if they are low enough, is it going to pull them down towards the ground? Is that way you can actually ground some of them? It didn't seem that way when I was testing it out against a Pharah, but I don't know. Maybe I was doing it the way it's not really supposed to. I'm not sure. So then we have Nemesis form. Transform into a Nemesis form, which changes your attacks and gains bonus armor, which then changes your primary and secondary fire abilities, which is punch forward, creating a wave of piercing energy with every swing. And your right click is significantly reduced damage that is taken from the front and reduced movement speed. So
your miscalculations will cost you everything.
So just to give you the indicator there of how that looks. So let's go ahead and try the damage on Nemesis form here. So you can see that the damage on this is actually pretty decent. Which makes sense. If he's going to go into this bulked up transformation form, it would make sense he does a lot of damage. Now, how much damage does he mitigate when he's in this form? When he does this? You'll also notice his health bar change. You see that? It went from 450 to 600 with a portion of it as armor. So that's important to keep in mind.
Now do you see your error?
Now apparently there's the other achievement is that when you are in this form and you do this, that you're able to actually withstand a good amount of damage. Like apparently mitigate a good amount of damage and survive.
Better.
So
much better.
I don't recall how much damage these things actually do, but yeah, that's something to keep in mind. So now let's talk about his ult. And of course he's a tank, so he has the passive, but his ult is crazy. Enter Nemesis form and create an energy swarm surrounding yourself. The swarm will lash out towards nearby enemies, dealing damage and pausing the duration when damage is dealt. So I just want to... Now, unfortunately, I can't really show this to you from this perspective. I wish I could, like, zoom out the camera and show you guys what it's like in from the perspective of another player. But let me go ahead and show you what it's like when you pop his ult. So you see the radius of the purple aura? That's of course, the radius of his ult. So as long as they stay within this, he keeps doing damage to them. Now the important thing is a couple things. One, he's not leeching life from them. So this is not like a way for him to sustain his health. If this was siphoning health, this would be insanely strong. But also look at the duration on the reticle on my screen. The ult keeps going. As long as he keeps doing damage with his ult, it keeps going. Now, it doesn't, recharge the ult charge. If you'll see there, it stays at 0 until the ult actually finishes. But look at this. It's still going. This is kind of nuts. But here's the thing. Even though it's while he's in Nemesis form and he's got the armor, and he can be able to actually do this while the ult is going, it doesn't mean he's, insanely, unkillable. Because I've already seen people will pop the ult trying to deal damage, but if he's getting focus fired, he dies pretty quickly. So even if he's doing constant damage with the leeching, of the AoE that the ult actually does, it's not going to keep him alive by siphoning health from enemies. It's just doing damage. So it's not overpowered. It's strong, yes, but it's not insanely strong if he was using this to keep himself alive, Which I thought that was going to be the case because he is a tank, and usually tanks have abilities like that, but that's not going to be the case at all, as it turns out. So let me go ahead and just try and build up his ult again, so I can show it to you again.
Double kill.
Again, the range on this weapon is kind of nuts, but it doesn't do that much damage. So let's say I do this, and I'm just sitting here blocking damage that they're firing at me, while constantly, doing this AoE damage with this ult. You'll also notice it doesn't go through walls. So if you want to avoid getting hit by this ult, just block line of sight. As long as he has line of sight of you, he'll keep doing damage to you with this ult. But if he doesn't have line of sight of you, then he won't be able to do damage to you. And then his ult will run out, and then he has to start over again. So that's one of the ways to counter this. Is if he stands here, he's not going to be able to, just block line of sight is what I'm trying to get at. It's one of the better ways to counter Ramattra. And I've already heard people say that they don't think he's very good. Now, sometimes when a new character is added to a game, they have not been properly tuned, and they will be absurdly strong. However, recently, that has actually not been the case. In recent times, I think the characters that have been added have not been super strong. Some people think Kiriko is really strong, and I think Sojourn is strong, but in the hands of a player who knows what they're doing and is good at aiming and stuff like that. But in the hands of other players, not so much. Again, usually it's the player that determines how strong the character is going to be, not necessarily the character itself. Even if the character is overpowered and strong, if you put that character in the hands of a player who doesn't know what they're doing, it's not going to matter. The player determines that, is my point. So, yeah, that's how he functions when it comes to his kit and such. Now, I would like to, in fact, let's just go ahead and I guess we'll leave this. So I'm going to try and go ahead and just get into a game here against AI. And see if I can actually do it. Now, I wish I had AI teammates for this, but I think I actually have to wait for other people to join. So, yeah. Because I would love to just simply hop in and play Ramattra, regardless of what my teammates are doing. But then again, this is, the game doesn't necessarily accommodate that in comparison to Heroes of the Storm. Because in Heroes of the Storm, if I wanted to showcase a new character with you guys, I could just simply hop on the new character, get into a game with AI teammates and against AI opponents, and just be able to show how the character works in an actual game. Overwatch doesn't really provide that. So, yeah. It would be nice, and I'm hoping that's going to be the case when they actually add the PvE component to the game. But then again, that's probably going to be reliant on co-op and playing with other players as opposed to, just playing with AI teammates, which Blizzard is fully capable of doing. they just seem to be very reluctant to do so because I guess they don't want to accommodate those who just simply want to play the game, on their own without having to rely on other players. So,
traveling to Nepal. Prepare for battle.
got him.
Select your hero.
Whew. All right. I wonder how many people are if the others are upset at me because I grabbed Ramattra.
We will have peace at any cost.
Violence
I do
is
not
such a
fight
waste
for
of
myself.
resources, but they've
I
left us
never
no
have.
choice.
Okay.
Tell me, is it true you never miss?
Everyone misses.
That wasn't an answer.
I don't owe you one.
Okay.
I have not listened to the voice lines between Ramattra and the other characters, so I'm curious about that.
Round 1. Capture the objective.
So one thing I've noticed about Ramattra is that he lacks mobility. Other characters like Ryan, Winston, and others, they'll at least have some form of mobility, except for like Roadhog and such. But Ramattra doesn't really have that. I'm just gonna go in and punch him! Bam! 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 Because why not?
Is anyone coming? Namaste.
I just noticed we don't have any healers.
Hello.
Better.
Oh, but I wouldn't give for a healer.
You are safe with me. Take everything from them.
Try climbing that.
I'm really trying to see, is there any limit to his range? Now, I guess the issue here isn't necessarily how far his attack can reach. It's more so, is there any fallout? Which I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's fall-off damage is what I meant to say. I'm sure there's definitely fall-off damage. It's just kind of the range is just kind of, like, surprising me.
You are finished.
Ugh, I am so low on health.
I have been restored.
What's up? How's it going?
Oh, we have a cuticle. Oh, thank you.
No. Got it.
Kiriko, blink to me.
Down a mountain path. What's up?
By the way, you can cast his E during your ult.
Enemy here.
Team kill.
It is rather amusing trying to do an AI game in this because they just kind of bulldoze their way through.
Best round 1.
Reality bends to my will.
He's calling easy when we're playing on casual difficulty against AI. Dude, how much do you have to prop yourself up to say easy in an AI game on casual? Seriously, you gotta boast yourself up that much? Come on.
I'm in charge. Don't forget that.
Wherever they hide, we will dig them out.
I do not fight for myself. I never
5,
have.
4, 3,
Understood.
2, 1. Round 2.
Rasta
Capture
khul gaya
the
hai.
objective.
Hey. Hi. She's gonna blow.
Greetings.
Let's get him.
You are simply
Bam, 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 bam.
You wage a war you cannot
Hey there. How y'all doing? Hey, catch!
Teleporter taking shape. Your efforts are paying off.
Hey,
So yeah, obviously the circumstances are, well, you know, you guys understand, but
hello.
I hope you can see, like, you know, obviously he needs to be supported, as almost any tank does, but still.
You must devour the power.
I was about to say, if Genji deflects my punches, I'm just gonna be like,
To my will.
I get so tired of seeing Genji deflect stuff. I'm like, how are you deflecting that? That's stupid. There's also a nice way to counter, I guess. Oh, great. As a Torbjorn main, I'm like, oh, great. His little barrier is definitely going to counter because it's going to give them the little window they need to focus fire my turret.
No one can hide from my sight.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Oh yeah! Thank you, Cuticle.
Get in there, Bob.
Devour them.
Overtime.
Suffer as I have.
Victory. Play of the game.
I love that the AI is doing that. That's the AI telling us GG. Lol. Anyways, I hope you guys can see what I'm talking about when it comes to Ramattra. I like what he's got here in his kit. I don't think he's super strong, or at least in terms of, I don't think he's overpowered. I think he can be strong if he's got a good team supporting him, because I think his ult is also really strong, and I think his Nemesis form can also be pretty strong as well. That's an interesting name card with the trident. Okay. But yeah, that is Ramattra. So I could see myself, coming to like him. He seems kind of fun. I don't think he's going to... I mean, we'll have to wait and see, because obviously right now when he's new, they're waiting to see what people think, to see if they need to make any balance changes. Then they will unlock him for ranked play. So then I'll wait and see what some of the other players who don't usually play with new characters. There are some players that refuse to do quick play and only play comp, and then they'll just wait till that character gets unlocked for ranked play to have their first time actually trying out the new character. Even if they get the pass and buy the entire battle pass, they'll just be like, yeah, I'm not going to do quick play, forget that. They'll mess with them in the practice range, but they won't actually, go try them out in the actual game until they're unlocked. So anyways, that's Ramattra. I'm going to go ahead and also try and make videos on the other characters, Sojourn, Kiriko, and Junker Queen. And I kind of like the style of what I did here, where I showcase the origin story. It's one of the ways to actually showcase the lore of the characters before we actually talk about them. So anyways, I will see you guys next time.